So you finally decided to pull the trigger on a 4K projector, only to realize most listings look amazing on paper but fall apart once you actually set them up in your living room. I get it, you want that big screen cinema feel without the hassle of a giant TV, but the last thing you need is another box that promises the moon and delivers a dim, washed-out mess. That's exactly why I spent weeks digging into the Epson Home Cinema 5040UB. It's not the cheapest option out there, and it's not the flashiest either, but if you're serious about home theater and want something that actually works in real life, not just in a marketing brochure, this might be the one. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. Now, let's talk about why this projector stands out in a crowded market. Most single-chip 4K projectors struggle with color accuracy and brightness consistency, especially when you're watching in a room with some ambient light. But the 5040UB uses a 3-chip 3LCD design, which means it separates red, green, and blue light instead of relying on a single chip to cycle through colors. That's a big deal because it delivers more accurate colors and better brightness uniformity across the entire image. If you've ever watched a movie where the colors shift or look off, you know how distracting that can be. This projector keeps things consistent, even during long viewing sessions. Another thing that sets it apart is the HDR10 support and UltraBlack contrast technology. HDR is becoming more common, but not all projectors handle it well. Some crank up the brightness so much that the blacks look gray, or they lose detail in the shadows. The 5040UB tries to strike a balance by using dynamic iris control and advanced processing to maintain deep blacks while still giving you that HDR punch. It's not perfect, more on that in a bit, but it's a step up from a lot of budget-friendly options that just don't have the processing power to do HDR justice. One of the biggest selling points here is the 100% balanced color brightness. That means the white and color brightness are matched, so you won't get a dimmer image when the projector switches from bright scenes to dark ones. That's a subtle but important detail, especially if you're watching in a room that isn't pitch black. I've seen projectors where the colors look great in a bright scene but then get washed out when the lights dim. This one keeps things stable, which is exactly what you want for movies, sports, or gaming. Now, let's talk about the trade-offs. First, this isn't a plug-and-play setup. You'll need to spend some time calibrating it if you want the best picture quality. Out of the box, it's decent, but it's not going to look like a reference monitor. You'll need to adjust the color temperature, gamma, and maybe even the lens shift if you're mounting it off-center. That's not a deal-breaker, but it's something to factor in if you're not tech-savvy or don't want to mess with settings. Another thing to consider is the lamp life. Epson rates this at around 5,000 hours in eco mode, which is decent, but if you're watching a lot of movies, that's still only a few years before you'll need to replace it. Lamp replacements can be pricey, so keep that in mind when budgeting. Also, while the 3LCD design is great for color accuracy, it does mean the projector runs a bit louder than some of the newer laser-based models. If you're sensitive to fan noise, you might notice it during quiet scenes. Who should buy this projector? If you're a movie buff who wants a true home theater experience and doesn't mind putting in a little effort to set it up right, this is a solid choice. It's especially good if you watch in a room with some ambient light and want colors that stay accurate. Gamers might also appreciate the smooth motion handling, though you'll want to enable the game mode to reduce input lag. It's not the absolute brightest projector out there, but it's bright enough for most living rooms without being blindingly harsh. Who should skip it? If you're looking for a no-fuss, ultra-bright projector for a bright room, this might not be the best fit. You'd be better off with something like a short-throw laser projector that can punch through ambient light. Also, if you're not willing to spend time calibrating it, you might end up with a picture that's just okay instead of great. And if you're on a tight budget, there are cheaper 4K projectors out there, but they'll likely cut corners on color accuracy and brightness consistency. So, is the Epson Home Cinema 5040UB worth it? If you're serious about home theater and want a projector that delivers accurate colors and stable brightness without breaking the bank, it's one of the better options out there. It's not